Last week I discussed my thoughts on audiobooks, so I thought this week I would recommend some audiobooks. First off though, I will try and give some suggestions on how I find audiobooks, because I know that the #1 place to find audiobooks is Audible. I find it very expensive, so I do this thing that I'm sure everyone else does, where they create multiple emails so they can get free trials, but I've run out of emails. So the first alternative that I want to recommend is Overdrive. Definitely check out your local library. I know that people in other areas have really good libraries, so definitely support your local library. It's always a good thing to do that. The second place that I found had a really good audiobook collection is Scribd. I only started using Scribd a couple of months ago and I fell completely in love with it. Not only is it a lot cheaper than Audible, but the way the downloading system works on the app is you pay a month and then you can basically just like browse every book you want and put it all in your library. You can download it if you want. You don't have to download it, which is a lot different than Audible, because Audible is like one payment per book kind of thing, whereas this, it's like you have to pay, I think it's like $8 a month, and then you can get like 10,000 books on your library if you want. I also found that they have a ton of ebooks and audiobook recommendations, and they kind of, the more you use it, the more they cater to your reading taste and all that stuff, so they do like suggestions. I really like the app. I'm not sponsored or anything, but you know, I would be super open to that. And the last place that I would find audiobooks is when I'm feeling super desperate and I don't have any money for any memberships, and that is YouTube. There are a ton of audiobooks on YouTube. I have read countless, I've listened to countless books on YouTube before. Sometimes they do it in parts, but if you're lucky, sometimes they, you know, do it all in one video. So you know, I'm not condoning doing that illegally, but if you want, it's there. Okay, so now let's move on to the actual recommendations. I have 5 books here that I really enjoyed on audio. I did mention in my audiobook discussion that I tend to lean towards memoirs when it comes to audiobooks. I only have one memoir here to recommend that I really enjoyed, and that would be Talking as Fast as I Can, From Gilmore Girls to Gilmore Girls by Lauren Graham. I really like her narration. She's a really good narrator. I think she's not only a TV movie actress, but she's also a Broadway person, so I think that's where the, you know, theatrical kind of narration comes from. The other genre that I tend to gravitate towards when it comes to audiobooks are psychological thrillers, or just like thriller horror stuff in general. So the next one that I have to recommend is You by Caroline Kepnes. I really enjoyed listening to this on audio because the story is about a guy who stalks this girl from his bookshop, and it's told in second person. So when you're listening to this on audio, you're listening to the actual killer and his thoughts while he's stalking this woman, and like his intentions and his desires and all that stuff, and it creates this like creepy atmosphere. The second psychological thriller that I want to recommend is The Girl on the Train by Paula Hawkins. This book is about a woman who catches the train every single day, and she passes these houses and she can like see the families that live inside them through the windows as she's going past, and she kind of creates her own story of what their lives are like. One day someone that she keeps seeing every single day goes missing, and she tries to like kind of uncover the mystery behind that, I guess. I don't really know how to explain it, but this book is written from 3 different perspectives, and I really enjoyed listening to it on audio because of that, because it kind of switches from woman to woman and it's told in first person, so you kind of hear the changes of voices. I think they have 3 actresses for the voices in the audiobook. The third audiobook that I want to recommend is actually a whole series, and that would be the Princess Diary series by Meg Cabot. I'm pretty sure all of the books are narrated by Anne Hathaway, and I really like her as a narrator. I think she has a great cadence to her voice, and she did play Mia Thermopolis in the movie adaptation, so I think it definitely suits. And the last audiobook I have on my list is a horror novel that I recently just listened to. That would be Bird Box by Josh Malerman. This is kind of in the same vein as a psychological thriller in that the audiobook creates this sort of suspense. Also, what's really interesting about this story is it's set in a post-apocalyptic type world where there's something outside that if you lay your eyes on it, you will die and you will kill people before you kill yourself. So people go out into the world blindfolded. So the whole story itself uses a lot of our other senses, mainly hearing, which I thought was really fitting to listen to on audiobook because you don't use your sight. It's a lot of description on sound and feeling, and there's something about it that very much suits the audiobook format for me. Anyway, those were the 5 audiobooks that I want to recommend today. Let me know if you have any recommendations for me down in the comments below. I hope you're having a great day, and I will see you soon.